Right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our live webinar. We would like to get started as people are continuing to join in. We'll start with the introductions and hopefully people will catch up. Good morning, everyone, once again, and welcome to our live webinar on Sales Enablement 2, Enhancing Your Sales Team with the LMS. For those of you who are new to the e-learning and don't know what LMS stands for Learning Management System, and that's what we'll talk about today. Anastasiia, if you are here, go ahead and you can turn your camera on to say hello. Hi, good
Yes, hello,
morning.
I'm Anastasiia and I'm working for Orange Fox Tours. And we are making the tours, group tours, individual and corporate tours of bicycle and e-bike. And also we make team buildings like VeloQuest in the cities of Europe. Now it's Paris, Valencia, and Barcelona. And after we are very ambitious company, we would like
Thank
to
you.
open
Thank you,
like
Anastasiia.
about
Yeah.
100 cities.
You stole my line with the introductions, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But everyone, welcome, and hope everyone has got their cup of coffee and ready to roll. We're going to talk about some exciting topics today, and want to briefly just introduce the topic. So we want to talk about sales training and how modern and contemporary learning management systems, training platforms can significantly help you enhance the performance of your sales teams. And so my two lovely ladies and guest speakers will be sharing their best expertise, sharing their best practices, recommendations, and just really talk about, just give their, take on what this process is now looking at, how we can use the LMS in sales training. So while sales training, sales has become an exceptionally technology-driven process lately, especially since COVID. More and more companies are now focusing on, creating qualified outbound leads as opposed to, relying on inbound, right? And so in that process, we're really talking about, finding that great professional, highly skilled sales talent that also is now hard and challenging to come by. And so that's where the LMS comes in, where you can actually use this technology to train, to raise, to nurture, to grow your exceptional sales team. And that's what we're going to talk about today. During the webinar, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat box. We will have a Q&A session at the end where we'll definitely go through and try to go through all of the questions. In the meantime, this meeting will be recorded. We'll send you the recording link either end of the business today or tomorrow. One last thing I want to make an announcement for is that we will have a special bonus for all of the guests that will stay at the till the end of the webinar. Tiana, and I'll make their introductions now, will offer a free sales consultation for your sales training. So if you're interested, stay till the end and then we'll share more instructions. So let's get started with the introduction. So Tiana Ray, welcome to our meeting. Thanks for coming
Thank you,
by.
Sue.
Yes, Tiana is a sales coach and trainer. She's helped multiple IT companies build their sales training, onboarding and ongoing trainings from scratch and has had some amazing results. Anastasiia, I'm happy to welcome you in our webinar as well. Anastasiia is one of the most energetic, ambitious, and charismatic HR directors I've seen. She has some amazing experiences in how LMS has been instrumental in building and growing their startup business in multiple cities across Europe, and that's what she'll share today. So all of you startups and small businesses out there, stay tuned. This will be exciting. All right, so let's start with the foundations as any time. Can you help us, Tiana, define what sales enablement is and why it's important in our sales environment today? Why we're talking about this?
Well, thank you so much for the introduction. First of all, good to be here and happy to see you all here. When we talk about sales enablement, I guess we first need to define what is it, right? So sales enablement is a process when you provide content, guidance, and even training for your sales team to effectively onboard them. And of course, you also need to provide the training how to interact with the buyers, how to shorten your sales cycle, and ultimately Sales enablement is all about how to win more deals. Okay, so this is where sales enablement, this is the main idea of the sales enablement. And when we talk about the LMS implementations in the company, this is one of the tools that can be used to enable your sales teams. And in the companies that I previously worked for, and I still like helping my clients these days, I noticed that most of them, they rely on the system that they use. And most of these companies, they rely on the buddy system. I don't know if you guys are familiar what this is. Some people call it buddy system. Some people call it shadowing, you know. But the main idea here is that your best top performer is actually being a buddy to somebody who is new to the company. And this person, they have to teach them absolutely everything from scratch, including how to use your CRM, right? And I hear these days, like when I go to the conference, that buddy system is a good thing and everything. And I agree to this to a certain point, because when we talk about the buddy system, I always think about what happens during that time when your best performer is being occupied not with making more money for your company, but giving all that attention to the newcomer.
That's right.
So,
that actually, sorry to interrupt, Tiana, that reminds me of my personal experience when I joined an IT company just as COVID hit. They had no structured or formalized onboarding system, and I had a buddy system, right? So I actually had a senior sales team lead, kind of like onboarding me through the process, but it was very time consuming. I had to go through lots of Teams and Zoom meetings, right? And so he was actually not doing his job, like you said, doing the sales, and I was spending hours and hours on Zoom, going through the CRM, going through the pipeline and whatnot, and that was just a really not a very, let's just say, a new hire friendly onboarding process. And we're going to talk a
did you
little bit
want to
about.
stay? Like, if I may
Well,
ask you,
let's just say,
how was the
because
impression?
the times were, yeah, because which I mean, we realized that this was a very new environment. COVID was something that has never happened to the world, and this was a situation everybody was trying to deal with. But that being said, right, we under that experience also helped us understand how we need to actually work on better workflows, on how to streamline this workflow better, yeah, to make it more effective, to make it more streamlined and automated, so that it's serving well for everyone. Anastasiia, if I may, you know what where I mean, I speak it from, from an employee perspective, what it was like for me to go through an informal and not a well-structured onboarding. What made your company, as a startup, a small team, to realize that LMS was necessary? For most companies, they start growing to maybe like 30, 50 people, and then they kind of realize, oh, we can't keep up. Our onboarding processes are no longer sustainable, or our sales training process is no longer sustainable, and we need an LMS. But you did it from the very start. What made you realize and take that step?
Yes, but to be honest, we became a medium company, because now we are a bit more than 100 people. But when we started, it was a really small company, and I started it. It's like our company is younger. It's just one and me year, and when I came to the company, there were no LMS, but honestly, it was they have had one experience with LMS, and after this experience with LMS, it sounded like never again.
So they had a really bad experience with
It was a very
with the
bad
first
experience.
LMS attempt.
It was
So
expensive.
what they were using, what were they using? What was the company using to share
Uh,
information, to training?
but I'm not sure that I can give you the name of LMS what they're using, but
Okay.
it was like experience as I met when I had come, and but now it's just a few months, 5 months after, it sounds like how we could live without, because now in LMS we have a process: onboarding, training, assessment, internal assessment, information that I called like urgent knowledge, something as should be taken into consideration as soon as possible. And we have assessment of our process. We are working with LMS with our mystery shoppers, and LMS is like a base for our box of franchising. We describe all the process and put it in LMS for selling as franchise, and financial consultant, as we had took not far from, he told us that we can multiply by 4 our price because we did this job.
Yeah,
And
Anastasiia, sorry to interrupt. Our audience just is not very familiar with your business. Can you tell us a little bit about where your offices are located, the tour locations, and then who are you training? So who are the beneficiaries, the end users of your LMS system?
On the main group, as we train, is guides.
Okay.
And our location is Valencia, Barcelona, and Paris. And our guys they working like a shift, and it's impossible to see them all together in the same time. And sometimes we have a new guides, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes every month we have a new guides, and it's a very long process of onboarding, and we don't spend time at all for understand, is he ready to go with our tourists to make a tour? Because before we let him go, we check that all the question he answered. All the knowledge is already in his head, and he has an ability to explain something about our on the points where we stopped, and like minimum he will do, and he will do normal. I couldn't say like perfect, but all necessary information in his head, and really it's keep for us several days, working days of head of guide, and its position not so cheap, and several working days, it's money.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
maybe I may share just one small
sure.
And for example, like assessment, because usually we have like an idea that with assessment we can check knowledge, but in our company with assessment we can check skills too, because we can put the question like how you can use the knowledge as you are. And like this, we are absolutely sure that after our onboarding program, they have ability to do the job, and really all the job of senior guide make LMS.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, Anastasiia, previously, before you had an LMS, you were using Notion, to share information.
Yes.
So that's what I was going for, is that, and while you had this instrument to share and train, you had no way of knowing if people had actually learned something, if they were ready to go and take their clients on the tours. With the LMS, you have that ability. You can track their progress. Yeah,
it's like this, but a bit not like this, because for example, for as we're talking about guide, we use Notion and senior guide. It was like tandem, Notion plus senior guide. And now instead of Notion plus, because Notion it's like a base of knowledge.
Yes,
and senior guide, he check and he try, he make the tour together for checking what is done in the heads of our guide, and so on. And now instead of Notion and senior guide, we have just LMS. And in Notion, it's absolutely right that we could never figure out who read and what he read, and so on.
No control.
It's absolutely
no monitoring
control. It's a lot of statistic, and we can use as we want.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, if not Notion, a lot of companies we know they use Google Docs, they use OneDrive, SharePoint. I mean, there are lots of resources out there that companies use, which are very cost efficient, right? But they also don't give you the other side of the story, which is really the important part, is that is your salesperson, is your new hire ready to go and start doing his job? Is he 100% ready? I have a question for
I may
Tiana.
make just one small
Yeah.
question.
Sure.
We have not like corporate email. It's
Hmm.
not exist in Orange Fox, and the communication in the chat of Telegram. And
Okay.
Mm.
can you imagine the chat of Telegram, something urgent, and the 2 million chat of Telegram?
Yeah.
And now, and we wait and we go like this, and after we wait, and when it's come back for us with information, and after we have one small question, and again, and
Yeah,
again,
it's an ongoing. I
everyone,
know a lot of companies in South Africa also. I've heard with clients sharing that they use WhatsApp a lot, for their
WhatsApp,
business.
Telegram, but can you imagine how many
Yeah,
chat
messages.
of Telegram everyone has done in the telephone, and it's absolutely mess. And
It
with
is.
LMS, it's like LMS control mess
Yeah.
because with LMS, it's absolutely clear. One message for everyone, and we could see, okay, already this they did, and another one didn't see. And it's okay, it's all the information, and it's absolutely clarify the process.
Yeah, yeah. That's really you know, it's absolutely fantastic that you're sharing this, Anastasiia, because there's a clear line between what was before the LMS and after the LMS. But for some companies, it may not be clear the value of actually using an LMS for, you know, and making it instrumental in your sales training and any kind of onboarding across the company. Tiana, I mean, why? What's wrong with the old school methods? What is wrong with gathering people in a room, training as we used to face, um, and basically, you know, just why not keep doing what we were doing? Why invest in an LMS? What do you think? How do you sell it to your clients?
How do I sell it to my? Well, some people still think there's nothing wrong, you know. They think that still face-to-face training and gathering people in the room is still okay. But I always say you need to transfer what you do right now to the money. So when you take your people and bring them to the room, what happens during that time? How much money are you actually losing when all your people are involved in the training, right? How much money are you losing when you also bring them for an assessment? Okay. How much time and money it takes you to implement what you have learned, right? So I would say that anything can be transferred to the money. I'm sorry, I'm a sales coach, so when we talk about sales, primarily sales is about like either you save money or you waste money, right? So I would say that when talking to the clients, we always need to realize like first of all, what kind of generation are you dealing with, right? So if it's a
Mm-hmm.
younger generation, those people don't want to sit in the room. Okay. Those people, they typically they do need socializing. I'm not saying that they're completely closed up, you know, but at the same time, they do prefer something with small bites. They don't like lectures. They don't like long lectures as well, right?
We're talking
So
tech savvy Gen Z, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But they are coming and what to do. And most people, they just like still use the old methods thinking they're still going to work. You know, they're not realizing that it's no longer going to work. And as I would say that the consequences of not realizing is that you also not only that you losing the money, but also consider that you are losing people, right? So when you lose people, it also costs you money to hire new ones. How
Mm.
long does it take you to onboard the new ones? You are losing the money again. You're not gaining anything. So I think it's all interconnected. And when you start talking to the owners, to the HRs, and when you start transferring everything from just just like words into actual numbers,
Mm.
that's when people start realizing that they need to change. They need to start moving towards, I would say, online, right? And their old methods are no longer working.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I mean, face-to-face human interaction is not replaceable. Yeah. But there are now, with the pace of business, with the pace of everything in our environment, we just can't gather people in room and do things as we used to. It's just we don't have the time for it. And I think that's where
Come on, it's a
also
quarter of a century already. Like we need to do something, like,
yeah,
right?
I would be really interested and curious to see what our audience thinks. And if they are currently using NLMS, we're going to launch a poll now. Um, okay, there are people who don't agree. That's good because then we'll definitely have a discussion and stay till the end, Maurizio. I appreciate your comments.
I love it.
Yeah. Do answer the question whether you have seen a pop-up window. Does your company use LMS or similar software for employee trainings? So it doesn't have to be just sales training, but any type of training. Anything that you use, if you're planning or not, and then we'll share the result and see what how things are with at companies or organizations of our attendees. Okay, we'll just take a couple minutes. I was actually meeting with a client the other day, and she's a sales team lead, and she said I would never, just completely replace my human to human interaction. I think it's important for salespeople to be able to speak to each other. I agree 100%. And COVID has shown us that we need each other to interact. Yes, so 20% no, planning to implement. That's good. All right. So actually, majority of the people are planning to implement, and hopefully there will be more people that will be interested and inspired after this webinar. All right, so let's move on.
Can I say something
Sure.
regarding them? I just think that I'm not also completely moving to everything to the LMS, meaning like everything has to be, all the communication has to be done through the messages. You can easily implement LMS and leave the live trainings. You can just make them scheduled in the LMS, and when I'm saying that, it's called blended learning. And nobody
Mm,
says that we completely need to transfer everything online. What I was trying to make a point is that even we are in 21st century, right? The quarter of it already, right? And some things they do change. And the business, like you said, Asil, is rapidly changing. And if you're not going to be keeping up with that, your business is slowly going to die. I'm sorry. You either developing and following how the world is going, or if you are being persistent and stubborn saying that, no, this is how I used to do, and it has been working for me for all this time. Well, I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to work this way.
all right, there's some hard truths for other
True.
people out there. Anastasiia, do you want to add? And then we can move on to, yeah. I think you're muted. Unmute. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, I think that it's very important, as I would like to add, and it's based on the question as I saw. And the question is, maybe, do you think or know that you can you can lose the part of sales coaching or coaching of the team when you use all the process with LMS? And I have experience 20 years in FMCG. The sales coaching, like double visit, it's a base of the base in my heart because I don't know how we can build the process of sales without double visit and developing in the process of working. And we keep this as Tiana told that we LMS it's not necessary put all the process on LMS. And for example, the big difference between LMS and Notion. In Notion, even if everyone read Notion, like we can make proposals, some person, 100% of people read Notion, but in Notion, it's like a question of what should I know? And in LMS, it's with the question, what should I know? Is the question answer for the question, how I can do this? For example, is in Notion, it's like a recommendation, and you should make upsell. Super, you should make upsell. What exactly should I do for making upsell? And
Mhm.
in LMS, we can make the instruction, video instruction. I'm using artificial intelligence for making instruction, how I can make an upsell. And after we can ask the question, and now show us how you will make upsell. And when we talk about LMS, very often we using like knowledge, but no, with right communication with our client, I mean, internal client, we can working with skills, but double visit with the manager who making upsell and with guide, he working in the field. We have like standard of manager, standard of guide, development, this and that, and so on, so on, so on. But it's already the process of coaching. And
Yeah.
the first base, it's more easy with LMS, and after in the process of field visit, we're working with all as we take from
You give that hands-on practical knowledge. You pass on that practical knowledge
I
through
hope that I answer
interaction.
for the question.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think what you said was absolutely gem, because you said, you know, in what you were doing before the LMS was basically sharing information on what is, right? And then with the LMS, you were able to show them how, and that essentially made a huge difference in the sales training of your guys on how to do upselling, how to do cross-selling, or different kinds of sales. Thank you so much, Anastasiia. Let's move on because we are going to run short of time, and I would like for us to be able to answer all of the other questions as well. All right, so we had more people actually saying they will be planning to implement, so they are thinking about it. They are thinking, or maybe even evaluating LMS vendors currently. What would you recommend? Anastasiia, that's a question for you, and that's for Tiana as well, who has helped multiple companies start their LMS and their onboarding processes. What would you recommend, like actually practical recommendations, where to start when they want to implement LMS? Who wants to go ahead? Tiana, do you want to go ahead?
I think Anastasiia is talking. She just muted again. No?
Oh, okay. Anastasiia, you can, I think you're
Yes,
muted.
yes. I can talk. But as the HR with experience using the LMS in the other life, in my
Yeah.
last life, what I recommend, firstly, of course, it's provider. Because, for example, in our LMS, as we have support, and it's support not it looks like 24 hours, but I understand that it's from 9 before 6 p.m. But it's very important. All the questions should be answered. All the small questions, because with LMS sometimes it's like small troubles, like it's very precise, very small thing, as you should touch on the touch off, and without this, nothing works. And for this, you should, and of course, it could be intuitively find, but someone he working with LMS, he could be fed up of a lot of questions like this. But with support, it's absolutely clear, easy. It's onboarding, first onboarding, where we go and through all the process. After, you can use this video from onboarding partly.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how I should
Training.
do this. Okay, this is information. If
Yeah.
you find something in onboarding, you can go. You can still on touch, and it's very important support. I think is that if you choose LMS without support, you choose throughout your money. It's
Yeah.
firstly.
So
Second
now,
one,
Anastasiia, if I can just sum it up. So your first recommendation would be carefully choose your vendor. Your
yes,
LMS vendor is your partner. Yes. They
yes,
need to
and
be able to not only just sell you the product and then go off and and they need to be able to support you throughout the implementation process and help you
yes,
and
yes,
okay,
and
roll it out.
it's like it's first condition.
Yeah.
Necessary
Must have a requirement.
must have, yes.
Yeah.
And second one, that worker that like it should be designed. The process of working with LMS should be designed before you start this process. It's very important because you should understand what's the result you
want.
you would like achieve with LMS. What money you should keep, what process you should rebuild for make it more simply and so on, so on.
Yeah.
And for example, in our every company when I was working, and now I in my design, it was administrator of LMS, because now it's a lot of post here. For example, like HR director, I can work a bit in marketing because we have not marketing director, and I have education in marketing, something like this. But you should understand that working with LMS, it's regular job. And every day or every 2 days, you should do something there. And it's very important to find the time
right person.
when you schedule for working with this, if you are will working, or find someone who will work and find the time for working with this. And when you will have one person, he responsible for this, he will continue despite some problems and feedbacks and preconceived ideas that it doesn't work and so on, so on. He will do this because this is his job. It's a real job. It's not something that you can do during you do a million other things. It's a real job, and it should be firstly designed, and after you should take LMS, and in this combination, it will work.
Yeah, Anastasiia, thank you. So just to, I mean, it's just to sum it up, all of the HR directors out there, talent, and training managers, this is a really pre-selection, work. So a lot of the homework that you have to do before even choosing your LMS is think about the results that you want to achieve, and because LMS is not just a fancy gadget or a software that just needs to sit there. It needs to work for you. It needs to either help you save money or make more money, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. And get your results. And if you know that your resources, your time is limited, and you're not going to be able to commit the time to implement this process, then do hire a professional person. Tiana, we're looking for your recommendations in terms of how to make LMS successful.
Well, you ladies already said absolutely everything. The only thing I would probably say is that you first need to ask yourself what exactly you want LMS to do for your business, and only then carefully choose the vendor. Because, it really depends what your goals are for your company. You either want to improve productivity, optimize the sales process, track your team's performance. You either want to do one of those or maybe a combination of three. So whatever the case it is, you need to first establish the goals before looking at the product. So I would say that this is just a little bit different, right? Change one to two.
But you mentioned a really key word, the performance indicators, right? The KPIs, the ROIs of the LMS are really essential, because at the end of the day, the executive team, the leadership team who's going to make a decision to go or not to go with the LMS is going to ask, what are the ROIs, or what are the key performance indicators that's going to tell you that our investment was worth it? So at this point, I'd like us to start, at a second poll. And here you'll see a pop-up window again with the choices that you see. So what do you think should be tracked to measure the effectiveness of the training, right? Which is going to build the foundation of your ROI for an LMS. And so you'll see multiple choice. So go ahead and answer that. And then we'll see how our audience responds. Oh, I see quite a few. I'm going to go into
That's a good one. I'm actually very much excited. What the people going to say about that one?
And while this, I may share one tips. For me, it was very useful, very important. If your provider, your vendor, can give us trial period, you should take, and you should use LMS during trial period, 24 hours for 24. You should do everything as you would like to check because it's free. And for example, if you should sell the idea, you should sell the idea for example, SEO, that we need LMS and this cost and so on, so on, so on. And how to sell the idea? Usually SEO, they could see just to figures, just to some results, not to the blah, blah, blah. For us, it's not blah, blah, blah. To the SEO, I could ask, and finally what?
Yeah.
Except your ideas, how it will be super, super, what exactly, what's the value? And the trial period, it's one method to show the value. For example, for showing the value in this company, I use in trial period. I had used trial period very intensive.
That's
And
very good.
I make a check assessment of knowledge of our frontline. And show that we thought this, and finally we have this. And it was enough. Just create one test with this question of practical question and the question of knowledge. Make this test for all filial, show the result, and idea of SMS had been sold.
Yeah.
And really, it's and if you don't want to continue, it's okay. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you have some expectations that LMS could not match with LMS, and it's absolutely okay.
I apologize to interrupt. We did have the poll results, or did something go wrong? Oh, okay, there you go. So now we have the results of our previous poll. So time to productivity, speed of new hire ramp up. So that's a really good one.
Agree.
I know yeah. Cost reduction for in-person. Absolutely. Absolutely. I had so many clients telling me that they spent so much money bringing external trainers or sending people to third-party training providers. And when I voiced them a standard cost of an LMS for unlimited training, they were absolutely just, I mean, let's just say surprised.
But when you use an LMS, you are looking for this training to travel.
Yeah, well, and the travel costs, yeah. If you have, let's say, multiple locations for you, Anastasiia, right? I mean, 3 different locations across, countries. I mean, think about getting people traveling to a certain destination.
But sometimes it's cool traveling from Paris to Barcelona and Valencia.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. But every once in a while, for team, absolutely, for team building, for other kinds of purposes, I absolutely agree. That's important. I absolutely agree. But for training purposes that are happening on an ongoing basis, we know that it's not very cost efficient. All right. Well, let's move on. I think we are at we have 5 or 7 minutes more for one last section, and that would be really just sharing hands-on experience, best practices of making an LMS successful. Anastasiia, you've shared lots of experiences and lots of recommendations into how to pitch the LMS to your executive, right? One way would be really using the trial and showing what the system can do and how it can help. The other one is actually one of the other things that really come up is that how do we create the content? Right. So Tiana, in your case, how do you recommend? How do you help your clients to do that? And Anastasiia, how do you go about creating your content?
Well, there are different tools out there on the market, right, that help you to create that type of content. But most LMS these days, I would say most of them, they support your regular presentations. Most of the LMSs out there, they actually have built-in tools that help you to create content. And I would say that micro-learning, obviously, it's been there for a while right now since, like you said, COVID hit, right? And this is one of the tools that you can use. What I love about Clever LMS, and it's not, I would say, an advertisement, it's just one thing that when we talk about the Gen Z generations, that there's a tool that helps you to make sure that you guys are following what is going on in the video, you know, and this is like when you insert the questions, and if they miss it, meaning that they give the wrong answer, then the system makes them go back and do the thing again.
Rewatch the
So
video again.
yes, and I absolutely love it. I haven't seen it anywhere else, and I absolutely love that tool. I have been using it with my sales teams as well, you know, and I know how many times these guys have been rewatching. So, you
There
know,
you
like
go. There you
for
go.
me,
That
I
also
get the
tells you
insights.
something.
Exactly. That also
Yeah.
tells you something. Who is a slacker these days, right?
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
if the company was implementing an LMS for the first time, Tiana, I know
mhm.
you had a really interesting tip right there. Who would you start with? So let's say you have a sales team that has been with the company for 10 years or maybe whatever, and then you have the newbies.
Yeah.
Who would be more inclined to adopt a new system?
Well, you know, when you're dealing with the stars, like right, your top performers that have been with the company for a while, those are the difficult people, I call them, you know, because it's hard to change. We are all conservative, and I would say that this is the most difficult group that to start with. So I highly recommend to always start with the newbies because they don't know different. Okay.
Hmm. For them,
And
this
if
is the
you
process. That's it.
Exactly. That like for them, this is how it's done in your company. And I would highly recommend also, for example, for like you guys said, if completing the course or they did something, they got a good assessment, right? Grades and stuff like that. You basically provide them with something that they can touch. Send them, I don't know, a gift, like, you know, some merchandise, you know, and next time when they are going to be announced that they received this, and that, your old people, so-called old people, right? They would look and like they would just start asking themselves, how come they getting this? And me, I have been with company for quite some time and I'm not getting anything. So just always start with the new ones, you know, and make sure that you do have a person in your company. And if you the HR, like you have to be persistent with that. If you know that it's going to work, you the one who's taking responsibility. I know that this is your job and you risking it, but at the same time, if you're not sure about it, then don't do it. But if you are sure that it's going to work, then just take it till the end,
Go
you know.
all the
And
way. Go all the way. Like
exactly, go
Anastasiia,
all the
just
way.
go, yeah, and bring
Exactly.
positive change to a company, right,
And
Anastasiia?
I
Right.
have two examples. One is very cozy and very nice, and another one very strict because I have sales experience 20 years, and I
Yeah.
should be very very precise. And the first example, as I told already, I'm using artificial intelligence, and
Mm,
there is an opportunity to create the main hero with the real person, and no one know in the next video about instruction how to, for example, how to give instruction before tour, how to start the day, and so on, so on. Who will be in this video, in this multiplication? Who will be there? Maybe it will be he. Maybe it will be I am. I don't know because I
yeah.
have the main hero, I don't know how to explain. It's like I have several person, about
Oh,
20.
you create animated
Yes,
persons? Yes.
like
Mm-hmm.
animated persons.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like I am. He looks like our appropriator, our boss, CEO. He looks like our girls on front line. He looks like our mechanic,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I can mix this person in my video, and it's absolutely interesting for everyone who
Of
will be
course.
in the video.
Of
It's
course.
Engagement, right?
It's fun. Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
game.
it's
It's
very easy, but it works. The main question that it works 100%.
yeah.
A
So
person looks this video because it's really cool, and they keep the video where he is or she is in this video show for their friends, and like I'm a star, I'm in the video of our company, and I
yeah.
can change I can change clothes, I can wear a t-shirt for trousers, like a sport keep, and so on, so on. And
Yeah.
it's cool. They are laughing when they do this, and it's
Yeah.
one of the way. And it's using IE. It's
Yeah.
absolutely faster. It's I don't know, maybe 15 minutes for one small instruction.
Yeah.
50 minutes and a lot of fun for everyone after.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a question in the middle of video. It could
Yeah.
be a
Yeah.
question, what should you do first? And it's different type of questions. But
Questions.
if you go through this question, we know that you go through this video. You saw this video with not X10.
Times. Yeah.
You
Anastasia, I
understand
apologize for
what
interrupting.
we are
Yeah.
doing. And
I mean, yeah, I'm
just
just being a bit
last question
conscious of the
for
time.
understand, but for example, for mystery shopper, it's a quite long video. And what we do the like, and for continue our education, you should answer for the question with the secret word. And secret word for this is, I don't know, cap. And you should tap cap and continue. And it's no any way to figure out what is the secret word. Just
Yeah.
hear what I'm talking about, because when in the team you can ask everyone what was the secret word. Okay.
Yeah. 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 But when you're on your own, you have to be very attentive.
Your own, you should, for example, 20 minutes, 3 times we use this, and there
Yeah.
are a lot of tools for checking if it will be with conscience or
Yeah.
without conscience. You saw this video.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just quickly wrap up what we just discussed, and then we're going to move on to, our last poll and then the Q&A session. I really want to be conscious of your time, so we have 10 more minutes left. I know we're running a bit late, but yes, do send your questions in the chat. So yeah, if you're just implementing an LMS, start with newbies, yeah, to create the buzz, to create the right positive change, the vibes, get them adopt the system, and then create this excitement in the organization so that the oldies also come and join and adopt the new change, the new the learning culture, if you will. Anastasiia has shared some really great tips about gamifying. Adult learning is also about games and plays. Nobody learns better than through game. And we all know that not only the kids, but also adults. So don't be afraid to bring humor, some gamified content into your learning. Even the most boring compliance and safety trainings could use a little bit of humor to make it a bit more interesting. Anastasiia, just a second. And then a great tip from Anastasiia was also the AI, right? Use technology, use AI to help you create that content, to help you start something from scratch, that's something that you can build on and customize. Anastasiia, let me just start a poll and then you can. So the next poll, the last poll we want to start with is what works best for motivating your sales team in learning? Yeah. So if you just, when you see the pop-up window, could you please just, answer the questions, and then that will give us also an idea of how you are currently doing, what you are doing to motivate your training sales team, and what's working and maybe what's not. Anastasiia, you wanted to add while we have the attendees
Yes,
submit
exactly.
them?
For this question, for motivation sales team, there are a lot of motivation, like positive motivation to achieve something and so on, so on. But when sometimes we should use another type of motivation. It's happened. It's life. And for example, I have an experience when we have the motivation program with very good condition. You could. Uh, receive 50% of your salary like a motivation bonus.
Okay.
But you can you can participate on this motivation if you pass all the test, all the training in LMS.
Okay.
If you did not, your choice.
That's a really good financial motivation for sales teams. Social recognition, feedback from colleagues. Wow, that's in competitions and leaderboards. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. I agree. Sales teams, I think salespeople especially are prejudiced about, oh, they just need financial motivation. That's not true. Just like the same reason why people don't just leave their jobs just because of their low salary, people are not just staying at their work because of the financial bonuses and the motivations. Recognition from their managers, recognizing their performance, their exceptional work is just as important. And this regular feedback and being able to engage with their manager is just as important. Thank you so much. So we have 8 more minutes left till the hour, till 11. So let's get to answering the questions. I'm going to open the chat over here. Do I see any questions? Maurizio couldn't stay till the end, but okay, we'll contact him afterwards. I don't see any questions. So was there, if you haven't been able to ask a question, you can type in them now, or we can add more, maybe just ask our sales coach to add a bit more content on the motivation and what works and what not based on her experience. Okay, so we're going to wait for the attendees to submit their answers. Tiana, could you add on the motivation?
Motivation, yeah, I would agree that most salespeople are very competitive. I would highly recommend to keep the leaderboard, and you have to attach it somehow, some way to the any kind of a material gift. Sorry to say that. It's not only just like seeing how many points I got, but what do I receive? I think this is the thing that moves them, you know. What we used to implement as well, like sharing with colleagues, like appreciation from the colleagues, is that when you actually invite your top performers and you ask them what makes them best, and people love to talk about themselves. It's true, you know. So this is the chance for them to show what they do different, you know. Plus, your young generation is also taking some practical advice from the top performer, you know. So it's always a good thing to make your best performers to shine bright, you know. You ask them to go to different conferences as well, so you know, where they also show themselves, present the cases. It's always good, you know, because like you said, Asil, you know, most people, they do love um to be shown to people, you know. It's not only about the money all the time, because if it's all
To be
about the money all the
recognized,
times,
to be
yes, you
acknowledged.
know, they would all make sales, you know. It's true, you know. So it's not only that drives people, I would say. So sharing the experience is one of the things. So they can, as I said, like you can make it a best practices, you know, week, you know, maybe then insert that into your LMS and have it, you know, so your newcomers can always take it from there. So
Right, that's
peer-to-peer
true.
learning is always good.
And maybe
Absolutely.
people can make their own content for LMS, and it could be
Yeah,
like motivation too. It's very important.
exactly.
Actually,
Recognition is
sharing
a
that
good thing.
knowledge, yes, is experiential knowledge, institutional knowledge. That's really important. Well, I don't see any more questions in the chat, so
Too
let me
bad.
just. Yeah, that's too bad. We had I was hoping that would be some interesting questions from the audience, but that's okay. I appreciate you staying till the end. And as we had said earlier, the bonus from sales coach Tiana, we will share the details in the email. So if you're interested, do respond, and we will provide further information on how you can get a free consultation from Tiana. Let me just quickly wrap up. I really appreciate all of our guest speakers today and for sharing, for exciting and inspiring, hopefully, our attendees today to add LMS to their technology stack and to their training stack. If you're still meeting people in the room, and if you're still Zooming or Teamsing or whatever you're doing currently, and you feel like you need to bring some change, do consider adding LMS to your training instruments. It's not something that completely replaces whatever you're currently doing, but it will definitely make a huge difference in efficiency, in optimizing your resources, in delivering information, and actually making it more let's just say adaptable to your new hires that may be of a new generation. So thanks so much, everyone, and have a wonderful day. We will see you in our next upcoming webinars.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yes, have
Yeah.
a good one.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.